First, Austin Amelio, come to the stage. Jenna Elfman, come to the stage right now. You're next. And last but not least, Christine Evangelista, come to the stage. Happy to see all you here today. Hi. Happy to see all you here today. Are you happy to see everyone here today, especially since this is the first event you all seeing with fans back?
Yes, very much so. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me turn these mics on. I apologize real quick. These mics gotta come on.
Hey.
Got it. Hello, yeah.
Hello.
Oh.
Okay. Mine's a little low, but.
How'd you do that? Just pull on it? Okay.
All right.
That works.
This is fun.
Hey, guys.
This is super fun.
Now, season 7B is going to come back in a few weeks. What are the general thoughts that's coming to your head when the show comes back in another few weeks?
Just general thoughts.
I'm happy to be back.
Very, very hot.
Yeah, that was hot. But there's a lot still in store. I think we're hitting the climax of the season, so it gets pretty gnarly. So that's exciting.
There's a lot of very deep character changes for each characters, but some of them like bigger than you've seen with the certain characters.
Yeah.
Like very big character transitions and transformations that I think is going to really push story forward and connect a lot of dots and open story for the broader Walking Dead universe as well, which I think is really interesting.
How about you, Austin?
What Jenna said. No, she nailed it.
Now, going into this season as a whole, we got an entire nuclear zone.
Sorry, but also you just got to watch it, you know? April 17th, baby. It's coming.
April 17th, everyone. Now, with this entire zone that's the complete nuclear zone and the fact that this is like Fallout situation, what came to your head when you saw these environments? Because I thought they looked very cool when I saw them on the television.
Were the writers on drugs? It's Texas, people. I mean, it was very cool visually. Everything looks incredible.
It's so different.
A completely different look than any season on any of the Walking Dead worlds thus far. But also, we were
tortured.
Very hot.
Wow.
I was in the tower the whole time in air conditioning.
No. Austin and I, we were not in air conditioning. I was on a horse in a gas mask with a bunch of a massive utility belt and just drenched.
Yeah.
But it is true. It is such a different aesthetic. Like, the walkers are different. Everything about the show is different and elevated it in a way that truly hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
So it was worth it in that sense, but it was fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Like,
really was.
Like, yeah, that was.
Did they have like some AC vest thing that went under your thing that you plugged into or something to like get air in your suit?
They did. They had.
Did it work?
No.
They had like a. No. Did you put that thing on or no?
No, because it wasn't working. It didn't because you had to. You would plug yourself into
like
an
a
air
cooler.
conditioning unit.
Like a cooler. No.
Yeah, you're like a cooler, but then you have to unplug, and then you're sitting there in this hot suit unplugged. So it's like just why? For the 5 minutes of cool breeze that I might feel on my body.
Yeah, it almost made it worse because you'd cool off for like 30 minutes in between scenes, and then you'd have to unplug, and it was so tight that it would almost like keep the air in, you know. So it's I don't know. They really fucked us.
I think they gave us ice pops one day. They were like, "Sorry, here's a bunch of ice pops." We're like, "What? You just waterboarded me with dirt. What? What?"
The ice pop melted before you even got it into your mouth anyway.
Exactly. I don't remember.
They were pretty good.
I don't remember.
So Jenna, we got the death of John last season, which was very heartbreaking. What went through your head when you went through the script? Because you had to think, oh my God, I'm losing John, I'm losing the husband. What went through your head?
Well, I found out, I think it was September 2019 when the writers told me that that's what was going to happen. And I remember where I was when I found out. And I remember which way I was facing. I remember what time of day it was. And it just, I don't even know what I thought, because there's nothing, I don't have any say in it. You just have to absorb it as a reality. And so it was just something, I don't know. I just was like, wow, this is big. And then I had to keep it secret for like a really long time. And then we went into the pandemic hiatus right before I was going to do the scene where I have to put him down. So I had 6 months of sitting at home thinking about how I was going to play that scene.
Yikes.
And I was supposed to. And so that's kind of like all I thought about during the pandemic was just like, wow, how do you do that scene? That's a big one.
Hopefully it works.
Ooh, yeah. And so, yeah, I think I was just like, wow, this is those big moments that you hear people talk about in this universe that happen. And I don't know. I was like kind of emotionless, really, because I just was like, I have to just process that. And it was just news. It wasn't like a script yet. So,
Did you speak with anyone else in the cast about this once you learned about it?
no, because I didn't know if they were telling everybody or only need to know. Because it was such a big piece of news that sometimes when the stuff, I'm sorry, I'm like talking to you, but then hi guys. Sometimes they don't tell everybody. Sometimes the big things are on a need to know. So I just kept it to myself because I didn't want to violate anything or get in trouble.
Now, Dwight, Austin, your journey with, shoot me everybody. Dwight's journey has been a monumental one, especially since he reunited with Sherry. So what came to your head once that scene went to pretty much when y'all made that scene reality?
Pretty nervous, just because you want to do it justice, and it's been such a big part of, it's our whole storyline, But just, you just want to serve the scene justice and the fans. You want to make them happy. And I honestly was really excited that scene could even happen in the first place because I didn't think our schedules were going to line up, me and Christine. And then they told me she was coming back, and I was like, oh, my God, man, this is awesome. Like, we actually get to, maybe someday we'll find each other. And then it happened, and she's an awesome actress and made it work. And that was actually, we shot that. That was like our first day back, wasn't it? It was that was the first thing we shot.
Years.
That was the literal, So it was, it was kind of crazy, but cool to complete the puzzle, And then obviously you're like, oh, this is awesome. I wonder where it's going to go from here, So another journey ensues, and it was. Sorry, I'm chewing my gum super loud.
It's all good.
I swallowed mine.
Did you? Yeah. Very unprofessional. Sorry. But yeah,
Under the table,
it was exciting.
actually.
Look forward to those moments.
Now, Austin and Christine, you also did an episode where y'all did wrestling moves in the wrestling ring, WWE style.
So much fun.
So tell us more about the backstory of crafting all these scenes together.
She was asking to do shit.
Yeah, I was letting it rip.
She was
I'm
like,
like,
can
this is
I
my time.
do this and do that?
Yeah,
And I'm
I'm
like,
gonna do a
damn,
double
girl.
roundhouse and knock it down. It's like,
Yeah.
whoa. It was so, that day lasted 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a 3-day scene in the ring and outside of the ring in the exterior of the wrestling ring. And it was just to have a chance to be that physical and have that much fun and just go for it. I don't get many chances to do that sort of work. So when we had the chance to do it, we're just gonna go.
It was
with
impressive. I was impressed.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
She's sliding under the ropes.
Yeah.
Kicking people and shit. I was
like, this is my time. This is my time.
Yeah, it was cool, man.
It was a lot.
badass.
It was just a really fun day.
Yeah.
We had some help, with certain things, but for the most part, because
Well, you didn't have a stunt double though.
no, I thought you meant choreographing it.
Yeah.
But there was this one day where you know what, we have some extra time on our hands. it's only 108 degrees. Let's get back in the ring and show us what you could do. We're like, what? And no ice pops. But actually, we did. We just like had fun that day. Yeah. I was drenched. But it was fun.
Jenna, you've been on the show for the last few years also. What has been your favorite episode you've been part of?
Guess.
There's
two, yeah. So there's two. I think that's kind of the Laura episode 405, because that was just, I don't need to explain why. That's pretty self-explanatory why that was so fun and awesome. And then I think the episode 609 of a real transformational time for June of killing Ginny. I just loved the walk. It's like, it was like a couple scenes. Yeah, there she is.
Yeah, I was going to point that out. We have a Virginia cosplayer here.
Yeah. It was just a couple scenes, but they were so potent and so poignant and transformational, and I just loved it. I loved it. I loved the walk away and the ownership. I just loved her owning her own choice and not listening to anybody anymore. And then she took a couple steps back because Morgan gave her some shit. And then you can all go to Sharondy and talk about this dynamic that I just mentioned. She has very strong opinions about that. And then in 703, June kind of gives it, holds herself a little bit more against Morgan. But anyway, yeah, I think there's going to be some more of June owning her position a little bit more now and working her way through listening to herself. Yeah. Because she lost her partner. She doesn't have that sounding board anymore. Right. And then big things happen, and then you're kind of alone. So having to sort of reorient your footing in the world for yourself takes a moment.
Now, Austin and Chris, if Negan was here right now, what would you say?
I miss him, man. I miss him.
You miss him?
I love Jeffrey Dean, man. As a person, if Negan was here as like the character and I was the character, is that what you're asking?
Yes.
I'd try and cut his nuts off.
I'd carry the scissors.
Yeah. There we go.
I think you should let her do the honors.
Yeah, actually, I would let her do it. Yeah, I like that.
Snip, mofo.
Yeah.
Pay back.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Got to follow you both do one.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Does he though?
Damn. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, we have a lot of ideas. Any requests? I mean, he took a liking, maybe. But I guess having left that whole experience, Sherry's certainly stronger for it. I think her resiliency and, her just emotional strength is a lot more for that whole experience. And it ultimately led her back to Dwight in some way. So all's well that ends well, I guess. But there was a lot to take from that whole thing. But you have to look at any situation like that and how can you grow from it and get stronger from these horrible things, that trauma that happens to you.
It's true.
Very true. Wow, I think there's two mics over there, or one?
Just one.
Fans, you can all get to line up over there and ask some questions if you want. Line is right there where the mic is.
And he's been hanging there for a minute, so
yes, he looks like he wants to ask a ton of questions.
He's got a burning question. Let's hear it.
Absolutely a burning question.
Good to see you.
Awesome to see you again, Austin.
Yeah.
Your characters have all been through some incredible evolutions in how they've dealt with other characters and their personalities. Were there moments when you were like, I really don't like who my character is right now?
That's a good question. Austin?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I guess there were a couple moments.
Torturing Daryl, maybe.
One, yeah. Yeah, I guess just getting pushed to like the edge of having to fight for your survival and not making, like as Dwight, you're not really making the choice that you would make in real life. I don't know how to really, like if I got to put a gun to someone's head, like I tried to make those moments something that he didn't like doing because it wasn't innate. It wasn't natural. There's things like that I don't know if the acting worked, then maybe it worked. I don't know. But yeah, I guess.
I think it worked.
I tried to make that shit like a struggle, so it wasn't like glorifying it. If that makes sense, Oh, he fucking asked for it back. Like outside. He was like, I want the vest back, like Norman. And he's like, all right, just give him the vest back, man.
Great question.
Just fucking take it. I'm over it.
I think a lot of people, and certainly I did, really wanted Sherry and Dwight to be reunited again. So every time when I read the script and I saw that Sherry leaves Dwight, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And it was just so frustrating for her to be, her own worst enemy in a sense, and having so much of this displaced anger and resentment and anxiety cloud her vision and pull her away from this goodness in her life that she knows deep down she really wants but doesn't feel like she deserves. And it was hard for me to watch her make that choice throughout the season and a half. But understanding objectively that she's on her own journey and dealing with pain in her own way. But you sort of want to like push her along to be like, you got this, girl. Like you can have it. You can have it. You don't have to constantly be punishing yourself or needing to seek revenge in some way. So I think it was hard for me to see that, to see her make those choices. But again, she's on her own journey, and I think, and ultimately it led her to a place of, forgiveness for herself and forgiveness of Negan and anybody else in the universe. And I think that's a really powerful thing to have for ourselves. But I don't judge her for taking the time for that. But it was definitely hard to watch that. Yeah, it was hard to do it. Yeah, me too. I read it. I'm like,
I was
what
thinking
are
the
you
same
doing?
thing, man. I was like, why is she fucking always leaving me?
It was a but it was a lot of the June John storyline also that opened up her eyes a bit to realize that life is short and love is in forever sometimes, and I think that really helped her sort of pump the brakes and realize what she was doing. Yeah.
I don't know if I have anything. I think the only thing I would say that sometimes, like in 7/12, it was very hard for me to be sort of made vulnerable by Morgan. I didn't even want to do that. Like, every instinct in me was to not have him affect me. I didn't want him to make me have to look, but June didn't either. But I would have liked to have just held my position throughout and then have maybe him come to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, hold her position of owning what she did and not be made vulnerable or made to doubt, like in that scene I had with you. That was really hard. And I was getting very in my head about it because I think there was something in me that was just protesting the fact that I had to be made to be doubting myself. And I didn't even want to doubt myself. I just wanted to be like, and so I think sometimes they have to, like, as an actor, you'll have an instinct of something because you're so close to the character, and if you have like some episode that's big, you're on a forward thrust of an emotional trajectory or a thought process. But then they also they have their architecture of story of how they have to kind of set things up to serve another thing. And so sometimes they'll just rig some story a certain way, but sometimes, and you get it, but sometimes you're like, And sometimes I'm not sure if it's because, I wish the writing would adjust here in this scene, or if it's me missing something. I'm always the first to punish myself as an actor. Like, I'm missing something. I'm doing it wrong. I got to do it better. I'm like trying to like ease up on myself like that. But I think there's sometimes also something to be said, which I'm also going to try and listen to more and say to the writers when I have that feeling of like, it's breaking an instinct right now to do this. Can we look at this? You know, and own that a little more, because sometimes that might actually be correct and I'm closer to the character than they are actually. And so I think I need to be more communicative with the writers if I have an instinct about something too.
Thank you so much.
That's some very great insights.
We're talkers, man. We're talkers. We're hanging here for a little bit.
I don't know if you would call this a question, but there's something I'd like to tell the three of you. You have all three displayed love stories of the ages. All three of your characters mean a lot to me. When my favorite scene of the entire show was the scene that you and John met in the cabin. And John's death was probably the first scene in all of film that brought me to tears. I'm not a very emotional person, but this show is very emotional. It is a gift, and especially now, it means even more with this global pandemic. I mean, and I just wanted to thank the three of you especially, and if John was really here, I would like to thank him too, but y'all are incredibly talented, and please continue your great work.
Thank you.
What he said. But I have a question for Jenna. One of my favorite kind of on-screen relationships is actually between you and John Dorie Sr. I think the relationship that you kind of have together is unique across the Walking Dead universe and is not really something shown much in TV, just this kind of like not your parent, but, type. What do you see? I guess the question is like, how do you enjoy portraying that relationship, and how do you see that relationship evolving between you and John Dorie Sr.? Or June and John Dorie Sr.
Yeah. I love it because in my own life, I loved my dad. We got along so well. And he passed away a few years ago, and I got to be with him and take him through that sort of ending chapter of his life. And it was really beautiful, that time with my dad. And so I feel, and I've always loved the older generations. I have just an affection for people who have paved the way before me and had experiences that have established the life I'm living now. And so to get to work with him, and I just have that affection, and I sort of bring my love and that I had for my dad, and I like to sort of have, as it applies with June, I think it's a love frustration relationship that she has with him as well, because she has some disagreements about how he dealt with John and his relationship with his son and how I saw it affect his son. But I love that tenderness and the sweetness that when they have it, I love that. And moving forward, I think there might be some differences on how they're viewing what's going on in the tower, and to see how maybe those generational moral codes differ, observational abilities and reference points differ and change, that differ what they're looking at that's going on.
Interesting. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Hey, my question is not actually Walking Dead related, so I might get hit with some tomatoes. My question is for Jenna. Big Depeche Mode fan, so signed my book. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I forgot to ask you, how did you actually get that gig in that video?
Oh. Well, I was a trained dancer, and I had like an agent, like how actors have agents. There's dance agents. And so I don't know if I auditioned or if I just got it. I think I just got it because I had to dance badly on purpose. So I don't think I had to audition.
Were you in a Depeche Mode music video?
Yeah, Halo.
Halo.
So cool.
Yeah. Anton Corbin directed it, and it was this
wow.
whole fun thing. It's really fun. It's cool. It's fun.
That's so cool.
It's a fun
Legend.
thing.
When did you find out that you have to dance badly in the video?
Like when we were filming, he gave me a note because I was
That's hilarious. Okay.
trying to dance well because that's what you do if you're a dancer and they hire you as a dancer. You try to do a good job. And he's like, can you just do a take where you just dance really badly? I was like, oh, okay. And so I was like, and it actually,
And it's in the video, yeah.
yeah,
There
it
you go.
totally made it work better. So for him, it was like an artistic thing of trying to like create what the right vibe was.
That's Anton,
because it was so
yeah.
obscure anyway. Like him singing at this circus thing. Like
Yeah.
it's such an odd concept anyway.
Exactly.
So yeah, but I think that actually was the right choice as a director. That
I
was
think
cool.
so too.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Jenna. Thank you.
Be careful, everyone. We have Virginia on the mic.
Watch out. Hi, I have a question for you all as actors. When you see cosplayers at the cons and on social media, what is it like for you to see people reenacting your characters that you've set, like a precedence, like you've set them as they are and people are emulating them? What is that like for you all?
Well,
just curious.
This is my first convention ever.
Well, welcome to the convention world.
And I can tell you that when I walked through the building today and I saw y'all, I was like, this is incredible. Incredible. Like, I love it. So we spend so much time in these clothes, literally. We wear one outfit an entire season, but it means it's so personal and it's done with so much thought and care and precision with everyone, with us, with our wardrobe department, with the writers, and to see people adapt it. It's so, I mean, for me, it's so gratifying. It's exciting. It's totally thrilling. I mean, I'm really happy. So that's how I feel about it.
Awesome.
Same. I just admire it. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, so much creativity. I'm
going to kill her later, just so you know. Jenna, if
Yes,
Morgan was
Trinity?
here right now, what would June say to him? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. If June were to join the Dark Horses, would Dwight and Sherry accept her?
I think so. For sure. Yeah.
She's pretty much in.
Absolutely.
Well, John and I saved him.
Yeah.
And I think it's along their moral code, their code of honor.
Yeah, we do.
I
have
think
a
it
code.
aligns. I think
Yeah.
they know that I'm at the core part
Good
of
guys.
aligned.
There'd have to
Yeah.
be a little audition.
I'd have to see your outfit.
See you on the horse.
To see how I look in the
See your outfit.
sweatsuit.
You wouldn't be allowed in the air conditioning.
Dance a little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jenna.
But yeah, I think we'd bring you on.
You know, how many everyone is in this room? How many of you are on Team Victor or Team Morgan?
Yeah.
Ooh, we got a mixed response here. Go ahead.
So my question is for Christine and Austin. With your relationship crossing over from The Walking Dead to Fear the Walking Dead, what kind of transition was that for you, being with a whole new cast, reuniting? Like, how did that go for you? How did that make you feel?
You want me to go? I was kind of excited, honestly. It kind of felt like the timing felt right. You know, I get bored pretty easily, so after 2.5 years, I was like, all right, yeah, let's test it out. You know, like I'm also from there, and I was excited to work with other people. You know, I like that. I don't know if I could do 10 years with the same people. I like moving around a little bit. Not that, I mean, I could, you know, but it's exciting. That's kind of what I'm doing it for, you know, is to meet new people and have new experiences and move around a little bit. So it was it was cool. And then to know that she was coming back was awesome. I was really, really excited about that. It's rare. It's really hard to do in the business. It's like people are always on shows and movies, so it's really hard to have that line up. It's sort of like a cosmic appointment. I feel like, you're you're doing another show.
Yeah.
You were, so.
Yeah. I was really lucky. I mean, it's rare, almost impossible to revise a character that you played how many years ago?
Yeah, wow.
5, 6 years ago?
Yeah.
And to get the chance to tell the story of how much that character has evolved and changed and grown, and in this case, hardened. And it just gave such an in-depth look at this young woman's life on her own out there. So I was really excited to do it for that reason. And I knew that the people I would be working with were awesome. It's known that there's this no asshole policy in the Walking Dead universe, literally. And everyone is just hardworking, kind, and just in it to make the best possible show. Everyone's there for the same reason. So I knew I'd be working with really great people. And there were a lot of people that, aside from Austin, that a lot of our producers and writers that had worked before with The Walking Dead. So I was excited to get back into that family. I was thrilled. And I'm really glad it worked out.
Thank you, guys.
I think we have time for 2 more questions.
Hey, this is for Christine. This is for my daughter who couldn't be here, so I hope I get this right. She wanted to know how you as an actor prepare or get in the mindset to portray someone with PTSD symptoms or ongoing PTSD.
Yeah, that's a great question. Like I was saying, had to have the chance to revisit this character with everything that she's experienced and gone through, and to have the chance to kind of, aside from what we know about what happened in the sanctuary, to really imagine what it was like after that on her own, struggling with so much internally and not having anybody to talk to really or companionship. And that was hard, to be honest with you. And there was, on top of that, we're filming in this pandemic. We were the first production to go back to work that September. And it was still very isolated. So you would work all day and then come home, and I would just be by myself, sort of living in those thoughts that I had all day and living in that anxiety, with this young woman, with what she's dealing with, and leaving her husband again, going back, and just dealing with so much stress. It was hard. So I think the question is how do you detach from that, because you are so invested in the character. And I think that was the work that I needed to figure out and do. But there's a lot of journaling and writing to get into the mind of Sherry and what she experienced. But I think, really pulling yourself out of it, I think that was what was really challenging.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Too tall. Everybody's too tall. This is couple questions for Mr. Amelio. Love your art.
Oh, thanks.
Love your skating.
Thank you.
I check on it quite often, see what you're up to.
It passes.
Yeah, I feel a little bit.
All right.
I noticed one thing that I really loved about your story arc with Sherry is that you did not get back together again. I love that. You did not get back together again because it was unexpected.
Yeah.
And I think it was a little bit ahead of its time in what we're discussing now in our culture, like with Kanye and Kim and breakups that happen and how men react or different things like that. And I was waiting to see how you would handle it. And I said, he was so smooth with that rejection that he got. It was such a healthy response. And I was like, who wrote that?
Are you talking about like when we're in the bed scene?
It was just the fact that, she rejected you. You don't see that often. Usually it's this fairy tale and everybody gets back together and it's all love. But so many years had gone by. I thought it was a very realistic thing. Yeah. But also in the way that you handled it, that you didn't, in the typical way or whatever, you kind of accepted it and you walked away and you just kind of kept going on with the characters. Yeah. So whoever wrote that whole storyline, I thought they were really ahead of their time in showing how a breakup can happen in a healthy way, even in an apocalypse. Yeah. So I thought that was really good. I just wanted to make that comment that you were really cool, really smooth with it. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Thanks. I thought that was good.
I wasn't trying to be.
Well, looking back, do you see what I'm saying?
Well, it's funny
now?
because I had the camera guy on set after we had done that scene in the bedroom. Was like, man, I really liked how you handled it, and it was like, well, if you love someone that much, what am I gonna do? Fucking punch a wall and
Yes.
and it's like that you create even a further amount of distance. So that was sort of
yes
the thought process behind it.
It arc to my own story because you were so kind on the cruise, and you were being so kind to everybody on the cruise. And you said I was the best dancer there, and you asked me to dance.
Cool, yeah, right.
But when you asked me to dance, you asked me to dance to hard rock.
Oh, no, I blew it. We should have. Yeah, I'm sorry.
A Negro.
Damn.
I froze, and I kind of.
I remember that.
I said, "Do you?" I said, "I can't dance to this." So one day before I die, can we get that dance?
Well, yeah, we'll get it. Absolutely.
I'm gone.
We're going to get that
maybe?
dance.
80s, some 80s maybe would be better. Sorry about
Hesh
that.
mode.
We got time for one more.
My question is for Austin. Getting in Dwight's head, right now, just what is Dwight's biggest? I'm thinking of the word.
Biggest fear
No, regret. What is his biggest regret? Dwight's biggest regret.
That's a good question. I don't. Damn. What was it? No, I don't know.
Probably turning on Negan.
Oh yeah, probably not just killing Negan. I mean, I think would probably be it, but it also feels like that world's so fast, you don't really have time to think about much, which is why all the characters are kind of flawed in a way. We're just things are just happening super quick, so it's.
So, am I allowed to ask my follow-up question to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so
I give the green light.
Yeah. So going back on the fact of, like you said, your biggest regret not killing Negan.
Yeah.
If Dwight could,
Yeah.
and the writers came to you right now and said, make up any regret that you have, and we're going to put that, and you can go back and write it yourself, how would you write it?
Man, I would have liked to have probably get rid of him maybe the night after he took my wife, and just murder him violently.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
that's a sad way to end it, but
thank you everyone that's coming out today. We had the cast here. We had fun today. Did everybody have fun today? Fear the Walking Dead will be back in a few more weeks on AMC Plus, so that's going to be a good lot of episodes.
Yeah. Sweet, man. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Hi, this is Michael Shanks, and you're watching Fandom Spotlight. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. The fate of the universe may depend on it. And have fun and follow your fandom.